Stop following this advice. The best way to break through. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another training video. I am so glad to have you today. We are going to talk about a very exciting topic in this episode, breakthroughs. And we're going to also cover just some common advice that is very trendy right now that offers potential but doesn't really explain how. And I'd like to dive deep into that and what that actually means so that you can manifest from a place that is rooted in your soul work that you're doing and not coming from a place of superficiality like spiritual bypassing, for example. So I genuinely want to thank you for being here today. It means a lot to me. I'm just trying to spread the good word, so thank you so much for joining me. Your support means a lot. It would also mean a lot to me if you would continue that support by liking or subscribing to this channel so that I can, continue helping the masses on a greater scale, and you help me do that. So I appreciate it, and let's dive in. So the common advice that I want to talk about today is trendy because it kind of invokes the concept of spiritual bypassing, but people don't think it does, or there's some misconception about what it actually means or how to do it. Excuse me. So I would like to talk about what spiritual gurus say is just raise your vibration. You hear that a lot so that you can manifest and attract what would come by raising your vibration. And on a very superficial level, that means that you're just engaging with the same frequency of the things that you want and that you're vibrating at that wavelength as well so that you could attract what you want. And that sounds simple to the people who are teaching it, but to the people who are learning this stuff, it's like, how do you even go about doing this in the first place? So it definitely seems like the holy grail lately. We go through, cycles of common advice that are trendy for people. There's like false idols in the spiritual industry and in the community where it's more of a lifestyle to them, but it's about showing off how enlightened they are, how many ayahuasca trips, how high they vibrate, things like that. And it's the contrary of what spirituality means and what it means to be spiritual. So I would like to go over what it means to raise your vibration in a proper way so that it's actually useful to you and so that you could use it to break through. So what to do instead is I want you to shift the narrative. So you're still utilizing the concept of raising your vibration, but you're understanding it from a different perspective now that you have someone who can kind of break it down on what it actually means. So I want you to think of raising your vibration as an actual byproduct of of the work that you're doing. It's not something that you're striving for. Like, you could obviously raise your vibration in different ways as well. I don't want to knock that down, but it isn't incorporating all the emotions that you feel on a human level and what that means in terms of embracing your wholeness. If you're raising your vibration just to manifest a different life so you don't have to feel like you're struggling any longer, then you're literally just spiritually bypassing at this point. And you're not that leads to instant gratification, but what happens in the long term? You're still stuck with the things that are weighing you down on a day-to-day basis. And to really raise your vibration is to be able to embody that and then to hold that level of frequency so that you can actually call in what you want. You can't do that if you're forcing it. Like, willpower takes so much energy and it's not sustainable. You'd be burning yourself out. It's also the same for for the other way around, that if you're constantly doing the inner work so that you could heal and raise your vibration that way, that also leads to burnout. So there's a balance between bypassing and actually doing the work. You could bypass if it benefits you to do it, to raise your vibration in a daily way that makes your day better and makes you feel better, so that you're operating from a different energy, as opposed to, say, your energy is very negative, very low vibration. And what those different levels of vibration means, and what it means to raise it, is to go from a low, very super dense, super slow vibration, which is where like all sadness and anger and fear and rage and where all that lives. So it's very easy to get stuck in that because it's so heavy and it's so dense. And then you raise your vibration by going into a higher stream of consciousness that would be more positive, where happiness and joy and fulfillment and love lives. And so when people say raise your vibration, they mean to go from that lower stream of consciousness where scarcity and lack lives, and going into a higher level of abundance and gratitude and love and acceptance. So, like I said, you can spiritually bypass and raise your vibration on purpose, but that takes a lot of willpower and a lot of self-awareness on a constant level. Whereas this could be so much easier and isn't a band-aid solution by doing the work and then reaping the rewards of a higher vibration, where you shift from scarcity and lack because you've worked on the root of those problems, and now they don't weigh you down and you just naturally ascend to a higher time frame. You could also do that via very small shifts in the moment by not choosing to be a victim anymore. That's okay. That's not spiritual bypassing. But when your body is screaming at you to process the emotions that you're carrying in your body, say for example you hold grief in your body and you're ignoring it and you're not allowing your body to grieve and yourself to grieve, it'll cause problems in your body and scream at you until you acknowledge it. So if you bypass that, that will constantly always weigh you down, and it will just get worse and worse and worse. So you might be able to vibrate higher in the moment, but you won't be able to sustain it because the stuff down here is so heavy. So you learn to transcend it, but it incorporates your wholeness at the same time, because you can't escape that. You on this level exist. In the 3D, it's very low vibration, because that's what matter is particles vibrating so slow that you could see it, because everything otherwise exists on a wavelength and things are particle, and when we observe it, it vibrates so slow when we perceive it that it turns into matter. And so 3D is very dense and very heavy because of that. And your highest self is obviously more tied to your spiritual self, and so you can't see it because it vibrates at a different frequency, and so you have to channel it into the 3D reality and incorporate both. That's why bypassing isn't really a thing, and that's why ego death isn't a thing. I go in that in a video I just posted about how to differentiate your ego from your highest self. You could check that out on my channel. And operating obviously from a 3D level is very low vibration. There's a lot of scarcity and fear mongering and lack that exists in our society because of how the system is run with the elite and how they exploit the masses. And so it is really hard to raise your vibration when you are conditioned to do so. So it's not so simple when the spiritual gurus just say, just raise your vibration. It's like, okay, first of all, I don't even know what that means, and how the hell do you do it? So this is what I'm trying to teach you, is that I want you to focus on the stuff that actually matters. And that's doing the work. That's overcoming the things that cause you pain and healing them. If you're running away from your triggers all the time, how are you coping in ways that are conducive to your highest self and your well-being in general? You're not. You're not. So that's why spiritual bypassing and instant gratification and maladaptive programming and limiting beliefs don't actually serve us. It just keeps us constantly weighed down in this lower vibration. So you could clear all that stuff by doing the work. And yes, spiritual practices do help with that, even superficial ones, but you're using it as a tool. You're not looking outside of yourself. It's not rooted in the ego. Doing these practices is just helping you amplify your power, or amplifying your trust in yourself or your trust in your universe. And that's okay. That will help you vibrate at a higher level so that you can call in what you want. So those are different methods you could use that will help you raise your vibration. And that's what that means. I hope this is making sense so far. So I just want to say again, I really appreciate you being here. Spiritual concepts are really hard to integrate, and my job as a coach is to help take these coded messages from the universe and then translate them into a level that human beings can understand, which is, these things are abstract and we're very concrete, very logical, very, very 3D. So I'm here to try to blow your mind so that you could expand it and think in different ways that help you live better lives. So raising your vibration is important in order to live better lives. And I want you, hopefully after this video, you do have at least a small idea about how to do that. And I hope it's helpful. That's all I want. That's all I want, is hopefully helping you a little bit with these videos. So I'm happy to share these things. So there's different ways you could go about doing the inner work so that you could reap the rewards of raising your vibration. And that would be like deep shadow work. What are the things you turn away from? What parts of yourself that you hold on to that don't serve you well? What parts of yourself that are rigid and attached to maybe that victim mindset that you have a hard time letting go because that's all you've known your whole life. These are the things you could address by doing shadow work. Shadow work also includes addressing, not really addressing, but letting out your authentic personality that people would otherwise shun, even if there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it. That is also doing the shadow work, is expressing yourself in an authentic way and surrounding yourself with people who then accept that, and getting away from the people who prior didn't and made you feel less than, that you had to hide these aspects of yourself. We need to be able to just be authentic and live our life and not care what other people think, because we'll never be in a point where people don't judge. That will always exist. So you might as well just live your life otherwise and do it in a way that feels good. And then you will just naturally be living in a higher state of vibration. Your consciousness will just be thinking in a different way than what the masses typically think. And you will trigger people. Living in your vibration, in a higher vibration, also means that you will trigger people who aren't willing to go into a higher vibration and would rather stay stuck despite their souls wanting more. And you will trigger them, and part of doing the work is doing it anyway and being happy and having empathy and sympathy for people who don't, and hopefully just living in a way that you are an example to people so that they too can learn to raise their vibration just by living a life that's authentic and true to your values, and just being a good person and doing what you want as long as it doesn't hurt other people. That's how easy it is to raise your vibration. It's just living a life that is wholesome, honest, and in integrity. And then there's nothing else that could touch you or weigh you down. You will heal all these things of living in alignment with who you are and what you want, as long as you are a good person and intend to move through the world as a good person. You will just automatically vibrate at such a high state that you will call in the relationships you want. You will call in the abundance that you want. You will call in the health that you want, because you're not constantly stressed and holding on to those low vibration emotions. This is how powerful it is. So I want you to understand why people say to just vibrate higher, but they're not telling you how or why. So I hope this video is clearing that up, because this is huge. This will lead you to your next breakthrough 100%. So again, if this helps you and you haven't already, please like or subscribe. I am just going to keep sharing more and more of this stuff all the time, so I'm happy to take you along on the journey. So I just really want to iterate what you get when you do the work. And that's inner peace, abundance flowing in, healing, confidence, self-worth. Most importantly, when you start taking accountability, you start building self-trust. And self-trust leads to self-esteem, which leads to self-love, and that is the highest vibration that you could vibrate at, and that will just, you will be living your dream life automatically on autopilot. You won't even have to try. That's how powerful this stuff is. So if you continue doing this, and fundamentally, this is just expanding your mind. This is just being able to think in a different type of way so that you could believe in yourself to achieve what you actually want, which is what your soul came here to do, is to live life how you want to live life. And that is a very high vibration, because that's the vibration we are meant to live at on Earth. Earth is supposed to be paradise, a very high vibration place, but it has its cycles where it goes through dark ages, and we're literally at the end of the dark ages. So I hope that collectively we start shifting into a higher vibration and start living better lives as an entire population, which I feel is coming. I feel it. So I want you to envision, even for all of us, what a year from now looks like after you expanded your mind, and what that would look like without trying to raise your vibration, if you continue to stay stuck. And if you also have difficulties after this video, or you want to learn more, I want to invite you to this masterclass I am releasing next week that continues this conversation in a more expansive way. It incorporates more how to expand your mind, so that you could just call in automatically what you want, because you're thinking in that state of vibration. So that's, I want to invite you to that training. You could access that you could register on the waitlist, because I haven't released it yet. Like I said, it's coming out next week. You could register on the waitlist in the description or the show notes. I will have a link there, so feel free to join. It's a VIP waitlist, so that if you do join, you will be privy to some exclusive offers that I'm excited to share with you in the training. So that training is about expanding your consciousness so that you can live in a higher state of vibration and start experiencing profound transformation. And obviously, with some help from an expert spirituality coach and shaman, your transformation will be even more profound, as long as you continue to work with a mentor or guide. So I want you to keep that in mind, what it'll look like in a year if you try to raise your vibration by yourself, and what it will look like when you try to raise your vibration with someone who has a proven system how to do it. And that's what I'm going to teach you in the training. So I'm super excited, and I hope to see you inside. So remember, you could register via the link in the description. And if it's not in the description because it's on a different platform, I will be augmenting it to suit that platform, and you will have instructions in the description telling you what to do. And that's it. So I went over everything, so I'm really excited that you joined me. I do these live, so I appreciate your patience as I get my thoughts in order, and that I have minimal edits. I'm not here for all the smoke and mirrors and all that. I'm just here to talk with my community. So thank you for being here. I hope to see you in the next training. Thank you. Bye.